Well, welcome to Shuck on... Wait a minute, it's not Shuck on a Truck. It's Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. I'm so used to sitting on the tailgate these days, I almost went that route.
Last week you exiled me to Mendota. I'm just glad you've invited me back this week.
I missed you last week.
I missed you too, and that drive is just miserable.
I warned you, didn't I?
You did.
I did.
It's not close to anything.
This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Shuckman, kicking it alongside Muddy River Sports Director Chris Dewar. It is good. He was on the road last week. It's good to have you back in the studio.
Good to be back. I think we have gotten through, the grind that usually is November postseason action in all sports.
I think between the two of us, we logged a lot of miles on the Highlight Wrangler.
We did.
And the Shuck Truck.
Yes.
And spent a lot of time. We even spent some time together on the tailgate.
We actually did this past weekend, which was, I guess, endemic of how big that game on Saturday was between Brown County and Camp Point Central, which I know we're going to get into a little later in the show.
Yeah, we're going to get into it, I think, on several layers. But we had a lot of great playoff action. And on the Missouri side, we had some blowouts, as we expected.
Right.
That starts to change, I think, this week with the district championship games. We'll see. I think there's a couple games there that could still end up lopsided, especially if certain teams play really well, i.e. Hannibal's defense.
Right.
So, and we're going to talk about that later. Jeff Gishwender, the Hannibal coach, will be joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline, and we have some cool guests lined up for tonight.
We certainly do, and we have some teams still alive, which is always great at this point because we're basically down to football, and then over the precipice, it'll be basketball season before you know it.
Yeah, and I'm prepping right now for a lot of basketball because the college season is underway.
Yes.
And so, and in the winter, that's my forte.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll be spending quite a bit of time at Pepsi Arena coming up this weekend. We're going to have a lot more on Quincy University, both the men and women who tip off this coming weekend here later in the week with some preview packages and that kind of stuff. But I did spend some time out at Pepsi Arena on Sunday getting prepped for all this. So for me, it is kind of basketball season along with some football still left there, which is wonderful to have. It's just hard to be everywhere at once.
So you got a chance to warm up. Was that before or after the soccer freeze out?
That was after soccer,
Okay.
So I got to go into Pepsi Arena and warm up. Sunday afternoon, I get up Sunday morning, do the stuff we normally do on Sundays. You get up and I know you got a routine that you follow. You do some writing, you do some stuff before you dive into pop time.
Exactly.
My Sunday morning is making sure the website's up to date, doing all that stuff. And then it's usually a little time to relax and then get going. Well, not so much this week. Quincy University's women's soccer team had a home game in the GLVC tournament, the quarterfinals. And as I went to leave, my wife had taken her dog outside. She was coming back in. I'm leaving. I'm going outside. I get in the truck, and little white things start falling on the windshield. And I texted her, and I just got in all caps, "Oh no," with a bunch of exclamation points. We did have snow flurries yesterday.
We did. So apparently winter is upon us.
So
we didn't get a fall really. We're going to go straight from summer to winter.
Yeah, and I will be 100% honest with you and with our viewers and listeners. I sat in my truck to cover soccer.
On Sunday.
I did. I wussed out.
Smart man.
I even angled my truck so I could shoot photos out the driver's side window and then rolled it back up to get warm.
To quote the immortal Boyd Ebbing, I approve that message.
And I can only think of a couple other times where I've actually sat in the vehicle to cover a game, and it's usually because the rain has been so bad. And we were talking about it on Saturday because we had rain at the Brown County Central game a year ago, covering a playoff game in Brown County, in Mount Sterling at Brown County High School against Casey Westfield.
Yes.
One of the teams still alive that we'll get to here momentarily. But that game was rained the entire time. Yeah. The umbrella didn't help. And
That's such a miserable experience.
And you just sit there and okay, I'm going to be wet and I'm going to be soaked. So be it.
You have a camera, I have a camera, and to keep the water off the lens, we're trying to do a job, and it is the most frustrating thing in the world.
I tried an umbrella on Saturday. I tried to hold the umbrella and position it so I could try to shoot. I don't have enough hands to do all that. And so my second half photos didn't turn out very well. I thought I got some decent images in the first half.
Really good stuff first half, yes.
So, and again, we had a lot of action at the south end zone, which helped out.
Which is where you were sitting.
Which is where I was. So I had the truck parked in the end zone. And thank you to Camp Point Central for allowing me to do that. not just Saturday, but multiple times throughout the last few years. And I know there might be an expectation that the truck will be in the north end zone in Mount Sterling on Saturday. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that one off with our schedules.
We're still working on it, though, so we're not denying anything.
No. So we got some. We're trying to juggle all the schedules going on to make sure we can get everywhere.
And to be honest with you, from a logistical standpoint, from the way we look at things, this is manageable right now.
Yeah.
We are down to one team in Illinois, which isn't ideal, but we have a team that when you reach this point, the third round of the postseason, that's kind of where you expect to be. Right. Maybe 1-2 teams. And then we have some really legitimate district threats in Missouri, which makes it, Friday, Saturday. It's when it gets really bad is if we have 8 or 9 teams all playing on a Saturday.
Yes. Which round one of the Illinois playoffs, we had a whole bunch of teams. We had 9.
And we had to be very creative to get coverage.
And we did. We did that. This week gets a little easier because the Missouri District Championships are on Friday night. Illinois playoff games are on Saturday. That helps. The following week,
everybody's Saturday.
Yeah. So then it gets a little, we'll figure it out.
We will.
But let's get into the scores and kind of highlight what happened this past weekend. We'll get to the interviews here. Brown County Defensive Coordinator Jared Hoots is going to join us at 7:15. Bowling Green Coach Cody Spiegel at 7:30. Hannibal Coach Jeff Gishwinder at 7:45, roughly on those times.
Right.
And then in hour number 2, J.D. Gravina, the WIU women's basketball coach, is going to join us at 8:30. So we're going to start. Like we said, the last couple of weeks we've had some basketball talk. It's going to pick up. But that's because football's winding down and basketball's starting.
And I think if you're talking about college basketball coaching guests, J.D. Gravina might have the most interesting team on the women's side in our area this year.
So looking forward to that.
So worth hanging around for into that second hour.
And we still have special Shuck 'em Up tonight. I broke it into 2 parts.
Very cool Shuck 'em Up this week.
We had a viewer submitted Shuck 'em Up. So I thought, well, let's go with it and see what happens.
And if you have great highlights for us, we will take them.
Yeah. So we've got that. We've got the adjustment of the week coming up in hour number 2.
Which will be specific to our Brown County Central Showdown.
Yes. So let's dive into the scores so we can get you all updated on what took place this past weekend before we head out and to talk to more people. So we're going to start in Illinois with Class 1A. The second round matchups, the one specific to our area. Brown County beat Camp Point Central 16-8 at Camp Point. The other second round games in the South bracket, Carrollton beat Dupo 34-19. Calhoun beat Greenfield Northwestern 22-14. That was in overtime.
Right.
And then Casey Westfield crushed Nokomis 48-14. That sets up this Saturday's quarterfinals. Carrollton goes to Brown County. Calhoun goes to Casey Westfield.
Interesting sort of bracket that we're left with. Yeah. I don't know that anything there is a massive surprise because I think you and I have talked about over the years how the WIVC South, Calhoun and Greenfield Northwestern is never easy for either of them.
Right.
And they're going to play each other kind of the same way Brown County and Central are always going to play each other. Yeah. It's going to be a touchdown or 2 separation. That game went to overtime. There's no secrets within that portion of the game. So 3
of the 4 remaining teams in the South are from the WIVC.
They are.
And there's a chance we could have a state semifinal WIVC versus WIVC and guaranteed a WIVC team in the state title game then. Casey Westfield, the one team that could derail all those thoughts.
And very talented and very pedigreed and at home. So that might be a tall order for Aaron Elmore's crew to continue. But they're the number 1 seed for a reason.
And if Casey Westfield does pull off the upset of Calhoun, Casey Westfield will be at home for the state semifinal. So if Brown County would win and Casey Westfield would win, they're going to Casey. If Calhoun wins and Brown County wins, the Hornets are going to Calhoun.
Exactly.
Which would be pretty interesting.
And we've got a rematch of week 1 again this week with Carrollton at Brown County.
Brown County won that game 28-7, and we heard then some of the things we've already started hearing now of how the physicality of Brown County won out in week 1. And it's what happened on Saturday.
It did. And that was, week 6, we both picked Brown County to win.
Yep.
We were 5 weeks too early at that point. But we all saw what Brown County at max Q is capable of.
Yes.
And that got replicated. I don't know, and maybe that's a good question for Jared Hoots when he joins us. I don't know exactly what the magic elixir was, but that's the Brown County team that we've thought we would see all along this year. And that was fun.
Yeah, so that's our Class 1A. In Class 4A, we don't have a graphic for it, but in Class 4A, Geneseo beat Macomb 29-0. We kind of thought that might happen going in. Geneseo's very good.
They are, but one of the things that I heard afterwards from people who thought Geneseo was absolutely going to wipe the map with Macomb was how good Macomb's defense actually was. A credit to Coach Wilson and that crew for all they accomplished this year. Geneseo was just too good defensively to, and Macomb's not built as a catch-up team. So they were down 14-0 in a blink, and it was over. But what a great year for Tanner Horrell's crew.
No doubt.
Great group of seniors. I thought they did a fantastic job masking a lot of flaws and playing incredibly well.
And they've got a good group coming back next year. So, I think there's going to be a lot to look forward to in Macomb next year.
Yeah.
And when you got a coaching staff like that, they're going to be competitive.
Well, and I don't know that there's a quarterback that profiles as well on this side of the river going forward as Caden Up. So, going to be fun to watch him in year number 2 as a starter.
Missouri district play was on Friday night. We had the semifinals in every district across the state, including right in our own backyard. Class 4 District 5, Hannibal beats Mexico 48-0. Odessa beats Warrenton 49-3. Sets up this Friday's championship game at Porter Stadium. Odessa with a 9-1 record coming to Hannibal with an 8-2 record. But you also look at what Hannibal did to Mexico twice. Odessa played Mexico during the regular season.
And lost.
So, again, it's hard to say. We don't see Odessa. This is a long road trip for Odessa. I don't know what to expect exactly from Odessa. I think Hannibal wins big.
You and I are both in agreement on that point, and it was nice to see Hannibal get back on stride.
Yes.
And I think that was a point of pride with them. And Mexico's not a bad football team, so to shut out the Bulldogs really was a pretty powerhouse statement.
And if you want to read more about that Hannibal defensive effort, senior columnist Don Krim has a column online today. Check it out. Talks about the Hannibal, having that week off because of that first-round district bye. Kind of aided them because of the performance against Fort Zumwalt West. They responded in a big way.
You and I know that coaching staff to know well enough how much they needled and pushed and cajoled after that. And I think you saw the fruits of that effort.
And we'll ask Jeff Gishwinder about that a little later this hour. In Class 2, District 7, Monroe City beat Palmyra 34-8. Brookfield beat Macon 38-7, which sets up Friday night's championship game at Langford Field. Brookfield 8-2, Monroe City 9-1. Brookfield slings the ball around. Monroe City's going to do what it does.
They've got a really good quarterback who can do a lot of different things. Very virtuoso type individual performer. Macon's not a bad football team, so for Brookfield to have won like that, I think there were people out there who didn't believe in Brookfield, who thought maybe Macon would get that win. Brookfield showed it. But they are catching a Monroe City team that has its fangs fully exposed after this past week. Apparently, there were some people in Monroe City who caught the shuck on a truck interviews that you did last week, and apparently that became some pretty good bulletin board material with some of the things Palmyra had said to the Monroe City kids who were in a lather when we got there.
And I'll be honest, at the time I didn't think anything of it. Palmyra coach Justin Hutchin was standing nearby when, I didn't think much of it.
There was nothing untoward.
No, but when you go back and listen to it, it's like, okay, but you know what? That's what teams do. That's what players do. You could sit here and say, "Oh, Monroe City's really good," and somebody could go, "Well, he didn't say we were great. Let's go prove him wrong." And that's what good teams do. That's what good coaches do. That's what good players do. They find whatever it takes to ignite that fire. And that's what Monroe City did. Credit to them for finding a way to ignite that fire.
Monroe City is a little edgy. And when you throw some fresh meat into the room, those are guys who are going to feed. Right. And, I can remember Davier Holland just right off the bat going, here we go. And that was, they did. It was a fun game to watch.
I think the quote of the night, though, went to Quincy Mayfield.
Yeah.
There are 3 things certain in life: death, taxes, and us getting the dub.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a pretty good quote.
That was pretty good. So that's Class 2 District 7 and Class 2 District 2. Bowling Green stayed alive with a 54-12 victory over Priory. Montgomery County 44-7 over Herman. Sets up Friday night's championship in Montgomery City. Bowling Green 4-6 at Montgomery County 8-2.
Not an easy thing for Bowling Green's Cody Spiegel to do midseason, but he's changed his quarterback.
Right.
He's using Chase Buffington as an attack weapon with his speed out of the backfield like he originally was.
Right.
And things have worked pretty good. Buffington had 3 touchdowns against Priory this week. Bowling Green's got some of its swagger back. Tall order going to the Kingdom of Callaway.
Yep.
And trying to beat Montgomery County, or excuse me, not the Kingdom. Yeah, they're in Callaway County, aren't they? No, they're in Montgomery County.
They're in Montgomery County. County. That's why their
name,
name's
yes.
Montgomery County.
I'm sorry, I had my emo combatants mix, but obviously a very tough road trip down to Montgomery County for Bowling Green at that point. But hey, playing some pretty good football right now.
That was pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, good catch.
Yeah. So
my bad.
No worries.
Yes.
We've all done it.
Yes, we have.
So, Class 1, District 8, South Shelby over Scotland County, 29-28. Putnam County beats Highland 60-7. Headed to Unionville on Friday night. South Shelby with a 2-8 record taking on Putnam County at 10-0. The midgets are for real.
They are. They're incredibly talented and very balanced, and as we've seen all season long, really tough to score on. South Shelby, though, what a nice comeback. What a great upset victory over Scotland County.
Without a doubt, and to kick a field goal when you don't hardly ever practice field goals, and Adam Gunnerman laughed about it because he said they practice 5 field goals every Thursday. That's it. That's all they ever do.
Well,
and
it was enough.
It was enough. And if you've seen video of Hudson Gill's kick, it went about 50 yards high and about 23 yards long. And it was a 22-yard field goal attempt. So just long enough.
Just over the crossbar,
That's all that
which is all
matters.
it takes.
So that was Class 1 District 8. And then 8-man District 8, Knox County beat Schuyler County 72-0. North Shelby beat Paris 50-20. So you'll be headed to Edina on Friday night for North Shelby against Knox, round 2.
Rematch, and this time around, Gannon Bowen will be taking part in this game. He's played pretty well the last couple of weeks, so there are no excuses now. North Shelby is fully armed and ready to go, and you're defending state runner-up in 8-man football, and Knox County is undefeated and in the midst of the best season in the history of the school. So it sets up really fun in a really great football environment. That's a fun place to watch a football game, so looking forward to that.
It's mano-a-mano now.
It is, and man, there aren't many secrets there either.
I said it's actually mano-a-mano, if you say correctly in Spanish.
I never took Spanish.
You did not?
No, I took Russian and French. Ooh. I thought maybe with the Iron Curtain breaking down, there would be a sportscasting opportunity. Здравствуйте. So there you go.
I'm okay. Now you're going to have to say some things in Russian some night on the show.
I'll have to sneak it in somewhere. Yes,
I agree. There's your scoreboard, brought to you by Schottenkirk Toyota from last weekend. We're going to take a break because we got guests waiting to join us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. We're going to talk more about that Brown County Central game when we come back. Brown County Defensive Coordinator Jared Hoots will be joining us, so stick around. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
Top 5 reasons you should choose
Blessing Raymond College.
small classes, peer tutoring, and lots of personal attention.
Financial aid opportunities, including grants, scholarship, and loan forgiveness.
Successful outcomes from pass rates to job placement.
Hands-on learning, clinical experience at multiple sites, and no wait list.
The Simulation Center.
Master clinical skills in this state-of-the-art facility.
Be ready for anything.
What are you waiting for?
Enroll with Blessing Raymond College today.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Are you as excited as we are that football season is back? Then you need to make Jersey's your one-stop destination for mouth-watering burgers, ice-cold beer, and all your local sporting events. So gather your crew and speed over to one of Jersey's 2 locations, 109 East Jefferson and Camp Point, or 115 East Main Street, Mount Sterling. Jersey's Bar and Grill, your hometown sports bar.
We love beer!
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
The real challenge of the night has begun, Chris Dewar.
What's that, Matt Shuckman?
It's to see which one of us can last the longest without our earpieces popping out.
I'm kind of holding my breath to keep them in as we speak.
It's always an adventure on Monday nights, isn't it?
It is, but that's half the fun.
And the reason we have our earbuds in now, because we're going to the Hess Auto Agency hotline, and we're talking to the defensive coordinator of the team that got it done on Saturday in a 16-8 victory over Camp Point Central. Brown County's Jared Hoots joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. Coach, what's up, buddy?
Not much. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us. How long did it take you to dry out after all that rain on Saturday?
Oh, I really didn't feel a lot of the rain anyway, of pure happiness. We got some rain on the way home, but man, we got a parade on the way into town with all the bells and whistles and people lining Main Street, and came home and hopped in the shower and went to watch some junior high basketball over in Winchester, and I don't know, it's still going, that's for sure.
I seem to remember the last time you went to Camp Point, hearing your voice at halftime, and it didn't sound particularly happy in that first meeting. Jared, what changed for you defensively this time around that allowed you to kind of become more yourself, where you weren't that as a team, I think, in the first meeting with Camp Point Central?
I think, our kids played with great physicality on Saturday. That's what we kind of preached to them after that first Camp Point game. I mean, we kind of got our eyes open on the line. If you watch the Weiss boy and Bachhold double team, I mean, you could put together a clinic tape on, how those two guys are physical and the double teams that Camp Point puts on you, so you kind of went back to, a lot of old school thinking. And luckily we have, some quality defensive line, old school guys that got the guys to buy in what they needed to do. And I think the physicality that our boys played with on Saturday, and the biggest thing is they didn't give up, because they're going to get you on a few, because Camp Point's way too good not to get you. And you're going to lose a few of those battles. And, we preached all week to our kids that, you have to be physical for 4 quarters and you got to just keep fighting. They may beat you on that play, but you got to come back and your brothers are going to pick you up. We talked to our D tackles that you're going to get double teamed. That's not going to be fun. You go back and I watched some of the film today, and to move a Cooper Adcox the way they moved him, or a Jace Leonard, if you're getting double teamed, one of your teammates needs to make the play. And, I know it wasn't a fun night for those two, but, our outside linebackers and linebackers did a great job filling after those double teams. So, I was super proud of the way the kids played physically.
Well, and after getting through some of those double teams and taking advantage of when somebody got double teamed to fill that hole, the hit they laid on guys ended up resulting in 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and an interception. How important or how tight turning were those moments for your defense to come up with the ball?
Oh, they're huge. We talked about all week, all year we talk about being playmakers on the defensive end. We keep a chart of, different goals we have. And one thing that we haven't done is score a touchdown on defense, but we have been able to take the ball away, pretty regularly during the season. And that's one thing I think we might have got one against Camp Point the first time we played them. But, we did a great job. I think that stop that Bo Little had there, that strip and fumble recovery he had, that they were gaining that momentum back. And that was a huge play. And just to be able to take the ball away and give it back to the offense, anytime you can keep a really good offense at Camp Point off the field, obviously it makes my job a lot easier if we have the ball and we have that, time-consuming offense that, we can put together some long drives. And, if the other team doesn't have the ball, it's hard to score.
2 huge special teams plays. One you didn't get credited for with an onside kick, which I think you recovered at one point. And then obviously Michael Cassing making the interception on the fake punt. Did you sense that was coming at that moment? Because you guys read that absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it was one of those things, in all honesty, they do a great job on special teams over there. And we knew that they've won a lot of big games on the special teams, whether it's a fake punt or that kickoff return or, Marco and the special teams. We knew something was coming, and our boys did a great job preparing for that, and they weren't on their heels. A lot of kids in those moments, hey, we got to stop. The offense is getting the ball. But, Mikey's a playmaker. Luckily he's a sophomore, and I'm sure, once football's done, he's got some more playmaking left in basketball than baseball. And, he's got 2 years of being a really solid playmaker, and he wants the ball. in those situations. Early on, it was hard to find a spot for him on the field because we have a lot of good athletes, but his talent and his knack for the ball has really, helped out our defense as he started playing more of being that guy to make the big play. And, I thought we finally got one for a touchdown there, and unfortunately it got called back. But, he's a great guy to have on your field, and he does a great job of being vocal. I know it's hard for a sophomore, but that's one thing I really challenged him is, in the back half, be that vocal leader, because he's a very intelligent kid, and that intelligence pays off right there of staying disciplined and just going high point in the football and making a play.
Now, you mentioned leadership there. How important has it been to have a leader like Trey Fullerton in the middle of your defense?
Oh, it's been great. As a defensive coordinator, and I've been blessed to have a lot of good linebackers that can lead. And I put a lot on them. I mean, you can probably ask all of them, whether it's Darian Drake, Chance Fuquay, Tice Fullerton, Trey Fullerton, to name some of them that, I give them, they're the quarterback of my defense, and I treat them like, a quarterback on offense. Because if we mess up, it's because we weren't lined up, and that's kind of your job, and I put a lot on them. And I remember that day when, unfortunately, Tice got hurt and Trey was a sophomore as his second game. And all of a sudden that responsibility was all on him, and he has taken that responsibility and got thrown in the fire. And I mean, boy, he's, I think, if not one of the best linebackers in the state. And it helps a ton to have him out there, getting people organized, that solid voice that everybody respects. And when he gets to the ball, man, he arrives in a bad mood for sure.
You, in your opening season victory over Carrollton, punished the Hawks 28-7, did a great job defensively. They're a better football team. You know what Coach Flowers is capable of. You know how many weapons they've got. What have you seen in their growth and development coming into this playoff matchup some 11 weeks later?
Yeah, watching the film, they've got a lot of playmakers. They're big play potential on every snap, which, as a defensive coordinator, that always concerns you because they can score on every snap. They're not a wing T team that wants to grind it out. The Flowers boy at quarterback, he does a great job of, distributing the ball, and he's a physical runner. And then they have the stump kid in the backfield, which I was impressed the first time we played him, how hard that he ran with that. And they have some other weapons at wide receivers now that it has, 11, 12 games under their belt now that he's more comfortable throwing to. And I believe they've been able to play with the same offensive line all year, which, that offensive line camaraderie is great. They do a good job spreading around. They're definitely going to stretch us sideline to sideline and try to use their speed, and stretch us out and try to hit those big plays. And, you always got to be ready for a bunch of tricks when you play Carrollton because they'll run the reverses and halfback passes. And, the stump kid's a pretty good pitcher on the mound. So, they got something dialed up with him. So, it's always a tough guard because you got to do your job like always and not give up the big play.
What will be your message to the guys that you kind of reiterate over and over and over throughout the week?
I think the big thing is do your job. When you get to this point of the year, on the defensive end, you can't try to do too much because that's when you give up the big play. And, that's kind of been our, mantra all year is, bend, don't break. We'll make sure that we'll make them drive, make it earn it on you, make sure if you do mess up, make the next play. So I think just doing your job, and trying to get 11 hats to the football. I think, trying to make it easy on the guys where they can play fast and most important, play with enthusiasm. We're going to be at home, for our seniors, probably going to be the last home games they play for coming out behind the Harleys. Everybody's going to show out. It's supposed to be a 70-degree day. So it's going to be a beautiful day down in Hornet Country to watch a football game. And I guess if you can't get excited for that, man, you don't need to be on the field.
High school football is an animal where you don't get to recruit, you don't get to pick your roster, at least not at Brown County. There are places that actually happens, but not in your neck of the woods. For you, I know there have been growing pains and frustrations to see your team mature from point A to the point you are now. That has to be incredibly and abundantly satisfying, not just for you, Jared, but for the entire staff, because you really are a better and different football team for the journey and the process.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's why you coach, high school sports is the growth part of it. You get to see them, and for us, for me personally, being around for 20 years, just Vince and Trey, for example, like I've watched Tom and his kids grow up through the program, blessed with boys. My boys are 8th graders now and are going to be coming through the program. Just to see that maturity and that growth from those little ball boys to now the guys with the ball in their hand has been phenomenal. I couldn't be happier for those two guys to being able to do this with their kids. I think that's one of those things that we've always been about is the family atmosphere, having your kids on the sideline at a JV or freshman game so they can be a part of them, have them around the guys, and I think, having that type of program where the kids are welcome and you want them to be around is awesome, and to see this group mature because there's a lot of different personalities. There's a lot of different groups. And, far as we've had some injuries and guys stepping up and just seeing those growth of those younger guys step up or guys that you might not have been counting on, that the jumps in the spot that boy, like all of a sudden they, 4 years of hard work. You don't see kids put in 4 years anymore. If I'm not playing or if I don't have one of those crucial spots, I think I went through like 9 or 10 defensive linemen in that third and fourth quarter just to try to get some fresh legs in, so kids are excited about being there. And I think the maturity and the growth, just shows a lot of, the leadership that we got, to be honest with you, these seniors, they never really have won a lot of sports growing up. But they stuck with it. They stuck with the weights. They stuck with the program. And, boy, they're really reaping the benefits right now.
Well, and I think they're going to reap some benefits come basketball season, but it's okay if basketball season doesn't start for another few weeks, right?
Yeah, basketball doesn't start until after Thanksgiving. That'd be great. That would be the best case scenario to make sure that, we get to play in Champaign. But, that's, a long ways down the road, and we got a tough Carrollton team coming up that, we got to focus on them. But, I think we're in a good spot in Brown County sports. We have a lot of good kids that are hardworking, intelligent, and there are truly good kids that work hard and want to be great.
Well, don't wear out the glasses watching too much film this week, okay?
Yeah, I tell you what, the older I get, it's it gets a little tougher anyway. But no, I don't know. We just grabbed a new puppy here about 6 weeks ago, so I'll go out and wrestle with that for a little bit to see what happens. So.
There you go. Well, have fun with that. We got a new puppy at home too, so have fun with that.
Oh yeah, we had to take it to the vet today, so that was a whole new experience. So, but I will say that I wanted the dog and the boys wanted the dog. My wife wasn't for sure, but she was the first one to bring it in the house. So, I guess we're out of the woods.
Yeah, dude. The puppy will be cuddling with Sarah in no time. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, well, she's already gave it a bath in the boys' bathtub, so before too much longer, it's probably going to be a house dog.
Good luck with that. Hey, Jared, thanks so much for taking the time to join us tonight, and good luck against Carrollton this week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We appreciate everything you guys do, and hope to see you guys around. That's for sure.
Sounds good, buddy. Take care.
You too, bud.
That was Brown County Defense Coordinator Jared Hoots joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. Big game in Brown County in Mount Sterling on Saturday. 1 o'clock kickoff. It's official. Carrollton coming to Brown County. I think there'll be a lot of people there.
And I think the trepidation you hear a little bit in Jared's voice is about trying to account for everything because last week you kind of knew what you were going to get with Camp Point Central, and Carrollton will scheme up for days and drop plays in the dirt if they have to. So it is a little bit of a different challenge, but it should be a fun one.
Should be a lot of fun. We're going to take a break because we got a couple more coaches waiting to chat with us about the challenges ahead for their teams, including Bowling Green's Cody Spiegel, who will join us next. So stick around. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
Decade after decade, Farm and Home Supply has been the place families turn for jeans that last. For style or for work, our jeans are made for every walk of life. Generation after generation, denim runs in the family at Farm and Home Supply.
We believe that accessing care close to home is better for you and better for your family. For 120 years, Hannibal Regional has been committed to providing community-based, contemporary health care. From state-of-the-art surgical care to innovative cancer care, and now life-saving open-heart surgery. We are dedicated to expanding access to exceptional care in each of the communities we serve. Hannibal Regional, Why go anywhere else?
So what separates us most from all the other dealerships is the Toyota brand itself.
Once they buy a Toyota, they never buy anything else. #1 vehicle on the market, the best sedan on the market, some of the best reliable trucks on the market. And our main goal here is to try and get our customers the best payment possible.
We know the process and we pass that along to you.
We're simply looking to buy vehicles off the street.
And we want all makes and models of vehicles.
And you don't even have to buy anything in return. We'll just simply purchase it from you.
We can purchase a vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes or less.
Meet us at the Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
The home of Quincy's best cheeseburger is now under new ownership. All our time-tested menu items, along with some great new additions, all cooked on our perfectly seasoned grill, are waiting for you.
New wings and new sauces.
Ice cold buckets at some of the best prices in town.
Or even in a frosted mug.
Corner bar comfort for your favorite game on 7 big screens. Or play your own game and win big.
The Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
Area Distributors is a provider of products and services in the restaurant environment, the school environment, the factory environment, the office environment, and in healthcare settings.
That's the value of Area Distributors, is that we help our customers out by providing them more product as one distributor.
I can tell you, if you call us and have a need, you're going to get timely response.
It's all about passion.
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply, coming to you from downtown Quincy in the CDS Office Technology Studio. I'm Matt Schuckman. He's Chris Dewar. It's a fun Monday night.
It is a fun Monday night, and it's a Monday night in November, and Bowling Green is in a district championship game.
Shocking.
Yeah,
we haven't heard that before, have we?
This is traditional at this point, yes.
It is. And to talk more about that matchup with Montgomery County this coming Friday night, we're going to head to the Hess Auto Agency hotline and be joined by Bowling Green head coach Cody Spiegel. Coach, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing really well, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us as you get prepped to take on Montgomery County on Friday night. What's it mean to your guys to be back in a district title game?
You know, I think for our guys is right now we're a really young team, and these young guys are hungry. They're hungry to carry on the tradition that we have. I think that this is for our 5th straight district title. So, I mean, for us, it's just, we're just really excited to be here, and we feel like we're playing our best football going into the district title game.
You know, when you are playing so many young guys, there are going to be peaks and valleys, and you've had them this season. Yet your guys have weathered it. They've shown an awful lot of fight. And as you touched on, you've kind of pulled it back together, even if you've had to make some personnel changes during the course of the year. That's never easy, Cody. How has that kind of gone for you in terms of being able to pave that road?
You know, I think you can look at it as a couple different ways. For us, being able to play some of these young guys, it's made them develop a whole lot faster. We were just talking, Greg Pitzer and I were talking today of, when we look back at the Jamboree, we had, for the 11 offensive starters, only one person is playing in their original position. Some guys are no longer with us. Some people got hurt. And then, we've switched quarterbacks. It's been a full cell change. It's been a full cell change on the coaching staff pretty much. So for us, it's just a little bit of trying to figure out who we are as a team and figure out, as us coaches, figuring out who we are. And, some of it's these young guys come a long ways too, figuring out where to put them.
The repurposed Chase Buffington has been a nice bridge, I guess, in that purpose, because he did start at a quarterback, and last week he was maybe your most potent weapon in a different position. That's kind of been a neat way to bridge that gap.
Yeah. In about, I think, 6-7 games that Buff's played running back, he's averaged over 200 yards a game at running back. And I can't say enough good things about him. He's dynamic with the ball. We thought it would work out with him at quarterback, just really with us having injuries to Gary Welch and a couple different ones. It just made sense for us to move him back to running back. And, man, has he flourished. In like 6-7 games, he's over 1,500 yards. So, just couldn't speak enough about the kid.
Cody, how pleased and how proud are you of the way your kids have adapted. There's been a lot of change, for whether it was off season or mid season or all that, and they've hung in there and they've adapted. How proud are you of that?
Oh, I'm extremely proud. I mean, all these kids, that's all they talk about is Bowling Green football. I mean, it's bred into them. I mean, they want to carry the torch when things weren't going well this season. They were sitting there every day watching film, trying to get better. We were trying to figure it out, and some of it was just trying to figure out where to put the pieces. And we feel like now toward the end of the season, we kind of have it figured out a little bit.
Obviously, with what you did against Priory last week, that gives you some momentum. Obviously, you suffered the loss to Montgomery County in the regular season, I think 42-7, if memory serves me right. How have you improved, and what do you attack? What have you learned from that first experience with Montgomery County that you can spin forward this week?
Yeah, I think we're playing with a whole lot more confidence right now. And we simplified some stuff on defense. We're not really doing a whole lot there. We're just letting them kind of play fast, get keyed up, and just really play fast on defense. And then offensively, getting Gary Welch back has allowed us to be a whole lot more multiple. He's not being our bell cow of a back, but he's more of our fullback right now. Him and Buff are a good 1-2 punch back there, and it's also allowing us to put Buffington out at wide receiver some. Our sophomore quarterback, Dylan McMenemy, is probably our most improved player on the team. He's really taken a nice step forward this year at quarterback where we didn't think he'd be ready. And, coming down the stretch, he's playing really good football. That's allowed us to do a little bit more throwing. This is the first year since I've been here at Bowling Green, that we're starting to get in a little bit of shotgun and throw it around just because, we don't have as many running backs, but we have some receivers that can catch it. And we're trying to throw as many different looks out at you as we can. And we feel like it's working for us. Greg Pitcher's doing a really nice job for us.
When you start breaking down and preparing for Montgomery County, what's the one thing that jumps out at you about their team?
They play hard. I mean, Coach Smith has them playing pretty hard. That's the number one thing. They don't have a ton of kids on the roster. Most of their kids go both ways, but the one thing that does stand out is they play with good effort. And if you remember any of his basketball teams, all his basketball teams always played hard too. So, for me, it's just a lot of similarities, and I think they're going to be ready to go. It's going to be a fun little atmosphere going on the road and trying to win a district championship.
I know defense is your forte, Cody, and one of the things that you do have is you have the pieces back, as you kind of touched on. And, from that standpoint, do you feel like you're better able to attack what Montgomery County does this time around as opposed to the first meeting?
Oh, yeah. I feel a whole lot better going into it. When we played Montgomery County, 5 players that will play in this game didn't play in the first time. So for us, we feel pretty good. We feel pretty confident about, what our plan of attack is. We're already watching tape and breaking it all down, and our kids are, we just went over the scouting report today. They feel good about it, and we had a really good practice today, and we feel like we can go up there and have a really good game plan against them and get after them.
Cody, what would be the one message you deliver to your guys throughout the week that they really need to hear?
For us, our theme of the week is unfinished business. And then when we say that, we're not talking about going up and beating them. For us, it's all about growth. And that's we've had a growth mindset pretty much all year. Is we don't look at the results on the scoreboard. What we do reflect on, is our effort good? Are we doing everything that we need to do to improve? And then every day we just try to improve in practice. We've really got back to the basics, the fundamentals, and I think that's been part of our key to our turnaround the last 4 weeks.
Even when things got wonky on you or were at their worst, I think the fact that your kids want to hold the line so hard on this winning tradition that they've watched built in front of them, that sort of helps you push the standard. They're not afraid of this moment, even if they're young, and that's got to be a great advantage because they want to be great, doesn't it?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, all these kids have been in middle school to elementary school. They've seen it. They've been there. Some of them been on the sidelines, and they're just looking forward to their time to do it now. And they're excited, but we have a little bit of focus about us, and we're excited to see if we can't bring home another district championship. I think our kids are keyed up, and they'll be excited for Friday, but they understand the task at hand as well.
Yeah, well, Cody, I know you got a lot of work to do to get ready for Friday night, so we really do appreciate you taking some time to join us tonight, and best of luck Friday night against Montgomery County.
Well, I really appreciate you guys and everything you guys do for the area.
Thanks, man.
Our pleasure. Thanks, buddy.
That was Bowling Green. Take care. That was Bowling Green coach Cody Spiegel joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. They go to Montgomery County. I know you look at it and you look at the records and you see Bowling Green sitting there at 4-6. Don't count them out.
No, not at all. And we saw a bunch of that last week, and this is a team where the kids have a different standard because they've been immersed in winning for the last couple of years at a very high level. And, they've got really good coaches. Greg Pitzer has done a phenomenal job, and as Cody touched on, I mean, the pieces and the cards have changed on him all season long.
It's crazy.
For them to have played as well as they did last week offensively against Priory should give people some hope that maybe there's a chance to ignite, and they will be a different team than the first time around.
Totally agree.
So
awesome. Well, we got another coach waiting to join us to talk about his team's shot at a district title, and that's Hannibal coach Jeff Geschwinter. We'll talk to him next. So stick around. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
When you trust your healthcare needs to MDH, you'll receive the highest quality, compassionate care from our nationally accredited medical departments and award-winning staff. We are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing exceptional care right here in Macomb. We also accept Aetna, HealthLink, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and most other insurance plans for your convenience. McDonough District Hospital, your regional healthcare partner, growing our legacy one patient at a time.
Does the thought of retirement overwhelm you? You are not alone. For over 25 years, Benson Financial Group has helped people just like you craft a plan to retire with purpose. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
For 135 years, State Street Bank has stood as a pillar of trust and stability in Quincy, Illinois. For generations, families have trusted State Street Bank to be part of their biggest moments. We look forward to the future with gratitude and excitement. Thank you for being part of our journey. State Street Bank, 135 years of banking you can trust.
Neiman's, your neighborhood market.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Not sure you're ready for retirement? With over 25 years of experience, the team at Benson Financial Group will meet you right where you are and craft a plan that's right for you. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
Chris Stewart, there's a big game Friday night in America's hometown.
It feels like November just because that's the case.
Exactly. And we've seen this team in district title games many, many times during our tenures here. However, they're playing a team I know I haven't seen play ever. Have you ever seen Odessa play?
I'm sure somewhere along the line, somewhere after 30 years, Odessa probably crossed my radar.
Yeah.
But, other than playing score compare, I don't have a real point of access on them either. So this is probably a good conversation.
So let's go to the Hess Auto Agency hotline and find out more about Odessa, because I'm sure the guy we're ready to talk to has done some research already.
Oh, just probably a little.
A little. And that's Hannibal coach Jeff Geschwinter. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
Okay, when you see that Odessa's in your district, Odessa doesn't sound like a Hannibal district team because it's from the other side of the state practically.
Right. Yeah. Odessa and Marshall were in our district, so those were definitely some new teams that we haven't seen in our district, at least since I've been around.
Does that make it easier to prepare or harder to prepare?
I mean, kind of harder because you just don't know. There's not a lot of common opponents that you can talk to other coaches or anything. It just makes it a little bit tougher to communicate. But it's fun because it's we like playing teams we haven't played before. So, it's always a good new challenge and everything. So, either way, it's not a whole lot harder, but maybe just the fact that there's not a lot of common opponents, so it's kind of tough to judge exactly what you're looking at,
What do they do well, Jeff? What stands out about them? I saw early on that they lost to Mexico and then kind of have pulled it together, it would seem like, since that point.
Yeah, I mean, they throw the ball. They got a quarterback that he'll throw it 20 times a game, if not more. They base their offense kind of off a counter scheme, very similar to Troy.
Okay.
But they are not afraid to just drop back and throw the ball all over the place. They got a couple talented receivers, fast receivers. One of them they try to get the ball to quite a bit. They got a nice, good thick running back that runs counter pretty well. He's kind of reminds us of Troy's running back, but probably not quite as talented. But he's still a good running back. And, like I said, it's, these guys are looking for home run shots is what they're doing. They haven't put a whole heck of a lot of 12, 13 play drives together. If they're not getting big chunks, then they're going for home runs. And that's kind of how they work.
With that in mind, how do you prep your defense for this week?
We just keep doing the stuff that we've been successful on all year, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I mean, we are an attack-style defense, so, by no means are we just going to sit back and try to just sit back in coverage and let their quarterback look around and pick who he wants to throw to all night long. So we're definitely going to be sending pressure on him and, getting physical with their receivers a lot too, not giving them free get-offs, making sure whenever they're crossing our zones, we're putting bodies on them and rerouting. The name of the game is physicality, and that's what we're really putting a priority on.
One of the things that I love this season that has been a developing storyline, because you had so many defensive strengths coming in, including some of the best sets of safeties that we've seen around here anywhere in a long time. Your cornerbacks have really elevated their play from start to finish. And I don't want to say they were question marks, because both of those guys are tremendous athletes. But how pleased are you, Jeff, with the progress you've seen on the corner from those two cats?
Oh, we've been very proud of it. Darian and Nick Ferrer have done an awesome job. Obviously teams are going to look at them and think they have matchups with size and everything, but those two guys play with such good technique. They've got outstanding football IQ, so they're very aware out on the field as far as down and distance formations, what they like coming. And they're just aggressive on the ball too. They know how to read the ball. They know how to play the ball. So, if there seems like there's a big size matchup, both of them really understand how to play the ball, when to attack the receivers, when to get their hands in there, and they do it at the right times too. So, we've had very few pass interference penalties. And really, the couple that have been called on us were very borderline. So they've really just done a great job of using good technique, reading their routes, not getting burnt deep. Nick got picked on a little bit against Fort Zumwalt West, against a kid that's going to K-State, but really he didn't do too bad. He just played a little soft on a couple things, hoping not to get beat over the top, and then just missed a tackle or two. But other than that, handled that kid pretty well, and that kid ended up making one of the best catches I've seen a high school kid make in my career. Again, both Darian and Nick just do a great job of keeping their guys in front, knowing when to break on the ball, and if there's somebody trying to create a matchup with them and try to throw a fade ball or something, they just play the ball so well that it really doesn't matter on a size matchup because they time their jumps and their attack just at the right time to, make it for a tough completion to make.
And Darian doesn't do too bad a job running the ball out of the backfield either, does he?
No, I'll tell you, he's just getting better and better. He's really, really doing an outstanding job of trusting his linemen through the first 2 levels, and then just being Darian after that. Once he gets a few steps in and past the box, then it's just you go out there and do your thing. But run your landmark, hit it as fast as you can, trust your linemen, and then after that, be Darian. And he has done outstanding. That kid, he made some linebackers miss this past weekend in the box that I don't know how he sees it or makes some of those cuts in such a small space. But man, he's getting dang good at it, and he's making the first guy miss, and he's breaking tackles and getting hard yards too. So, it's more than just getting him out in open space. The kid can dang near do it all.
You bounced back nicely from week 9, and I know you had a little time to reflect on that and get things right. Was that a good wake-up call? I mean, no other way to frame it at this point, is there?
No, I mean it absolutely is, and that's why we schedule those games. We knew West was going to be tough coming in. I mean they have a bunch of the same guys that they had last year, and they were a tough game last year for us. And on top of that, they added on a receiver this year who's committed to K-State, and they just do a good job. Their quarterback, their timing on their routes, and they're just big and physical, and that's something that's a big thing we look for in scheduling these regular season games. And Sumwalt West was a perfect game there that week 9. They had a little bit better athletes than what we had seen all year. They had some bigger dudes up front than what we had seen all year. So we got some good work against good size and good speed there in that week 9. And overall, I thought we did pretty well. We just had a couple breakdowns in our pass coverage that second half. But a lot of that's not just on our pass coverage. I mean, there were two series there in the fourth quarter that if we can convert a first down, I think it turns out a lot different, especially our last offensive drive. We got stopped on a 4th and 2. And if we convert that fourth down, it's game over.
Jeff, you mentioned so much about physicality and size and those things. But I think one thing that often gets overlooked with your guys is the high football IQ. And they have high IQs just in general. You look at it, so where some of the schools recruiting some of your seniors. How important is it that these guys are smart on the field and off?
That's something you're exactly right. Some of that stuff is overlooked, and people on the outside will see teams that are just loaded with athletes, and they're high school kids. They make mistakes. That's just all there is to it. You have to know that. And having a team like we do that's got a lot of experience under their belt, you're right, the football IQ goes way up. And when you have that, you basically have a bunch of coaches on the field. Everybody understands what almost everybody's job is. So, everybody's doing their own job, but they understand what the other guy's supposed to be doing too, to make sure that they're doing their thing right. And on top of that, they just, they're students of the game. They study teams. They understand formation tendencies. They understand situational tendencies, and they understand offensive alignment to the point where there's a lot of communication going on the defense side of the field just based off the situation and the formation coming up. Our guys can typically, get it out to about 3 or 4 plays based on the situation and the formation. So, being able to do that, understanding our scheme, understanding what we're trying to do, and then having a great knowledge of what the other team is trying to do, add that on to just their game awareness and their situational awareness. Boy, it helps an awful lot. Like I said, it's like having a bunch of coaches on the field.
You talked about situational awareness. I think your team is also mature enough, particularly in that senior class, to know how special this opportunity is they've been afforded this season, because they know they're good, and you see them respond to adversity. You see the way that they pick it up after, as you mentioned in week 9, not what you wanted. They find a way to correct things, and they respond with fervor. They pitched a shutout this week against a Mexico team that's not bad. So, that maturity comes into play as well, I would think.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that maturity, but just having that chip on their shoulder too. Knowing that, last season was an unsuccessful season for us. We look at that as a losing season. Not just losing the conference, but also losing the district. And, that really sits hard on these guys that have a lot of experience, because a lot of them were on our teams going to the quarterfinals a couple of years in a row. We're in 8th grade whenever we went to state, and we're along with that ride. So, these guys came in knowing that we had some talent, and understanding that it takes a lot more than just talent in order to be successful. So, they've done a good job with just having a goal in mind and having a chip on their shoulder to achieve that goal. And I think that's what really has helped, with our physicality and the way that we are able to fix some of the problems that we end up having, or some of the adversity that we come up with. We typically have been a very strong second half team all year, and that just shows how these guys can keep their focus and how they can improve their game throughout and adjust as things go.
Well, Jeff, I know their focus will be on Friday night. We appreciate you taking time to join us tonight and break it down. And I know you got to get ready for Friday night, so we'll let you go. Appreciate everything all season, and thanks for taking the time tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate what you guys do, man. You put an awesome spotlight on high school sports. So, thank you guys for all this stuff that you guys do. I know the kids get crazy excited about this stuff. So, you guys do awesome.
Well, we'll see you on Friday
Jeff.
night.
Appreciate that.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. That was Hannibal coach Jeff Gishwinder joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. Big game in America's hometown, Porter Stadium on Friday night.
I got so excited talking about that, I forgot to ask Jeff if he was watching any of the University of Notre Dame highlights from over the weekend to watch that touchdown in Diaz.
There was a touchdown in the rain.
In the rain.
Yeah, so that was impressive.
It was impressive, but yeah, obviously such a huge run here, and I think the people who understand football understand what's at stake here. This Hannibal team does have a very rare window to be incredibly special.
It does, and I was taking a quick look at the bracket just to see who's where exactly, and if they play well, the bracket sets up, they can make a run. It really does.
It certainly does. I mean, there are some good teams in this bracket.
There are.
They're on a good side of the bracket to be on, and we'll see how this all shakes down the next couple of weeks. But it is
got to win Friday night first.
You got to win Friday first, as you said, and you got to keep your focus on what's in front of them. And again, as Jeff said, kind of a nice wake-up call with the West game. A talented team, no doubt, but. It's really hard for me to understand, a Hannibal defense that good giving up 28 points. That's, they're good, and they're 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids, but that defense is something special.
Well, we'll see what happens Friday night. You'll be able to check all of that out Saturday morning on the Muddy River Blitz, electrified by Excel Physical Therapy. And we'll have complete coverage of the district championship games on Saturday morning.
We've got a really fun Friday lined up in a number of different places.
No doubt about it. We're going to take a break. It's been a fun first hour. We got a fun second hour ahead of us, and we're going to make an adjustment here and get ready for hour number 2.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun. So stick around. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
Since 1929, we've been here to serve our communities with the best products and the best service. You are the reason we go to work every day, and we thank you for that. After all, we live where you do.
Area Distributors is a provider of products and services in the restaurant environment, the school environment, the factory environment, the office environment, and in healthcare settings.
That's the value of Area Distributors, is that we help our customers out by providing them more product as one distributor.
I can tell you, if you call us and have a need, you're going to get timely response.
It's all about passion.
Decade after decade, Farm and Home Supply has been the place families turn for jeans that last. for style or for work, our jeans are made for every walk of life. Generation after generation, denim runs in the family at Farm and Home Supply.
Since 1985, Hess Auto Agency has been your trusted source for pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Families have experienced the Hess difference for generations and know they'll get the best vehicle buying experience in our region. With an ever-changing inventory, you'll find the right car at the right price. So when you want the best, don't guess. Choose Hess. Hess Auto Agency, 1124 North 24th in Quincy.
My philosophy in pediatrics is definitely prevention, early intervention, and advocacy. Being an advocate for my patients is one of the main reasons why I got into pediatrics in the first place. I like working close with families and being able to empower moms, especially first-time moms, or empower any caregiver. MDH Peds gives that family-centered care. My name is Leilani Segura, and I am a pediatrician at McDonough Districts Hospital.
Welcome back to Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Shuckman, hanging out here in downtown Quincy in the CDS Office Technology Studio with the Tonto to my Lone Ranger.
Indeed.
Chris Dewar, Muddy River Sports Director.
Hour number 2.
No earbuds in right now.
I can't speak to what might have happened in commercial, but my earbuds might have gotten a very harsh treatment.
It's the most fun part of Monday. I mean, the Monday nights are a lot of fun, but it's the one of the funnest parts is what's going to happen with the earbuds, because we both struggle with them.
We've introduced some chaos to the situation and some anarchy. So yes, that is a part of the fun.
One of the other cool things, we had 3 great guests in hour number 1.
We did.
Brown County Defensive Coordinator Jared Hoots, Bowling Green Coach Cody Spiegel, Hannibal Coach Jeff Gishwinder, and we were talking about this off air. We are blessed where we are at with the coaches we deal with on both sides of the river and up into southeast Iowa.
Right.
That we deal with a ton of coaches, not just football, across the board, that are accommodating, that are helpful, that are just fun people to be around.
And people who understand the mission. I reflect on Brad Dixon's message on social media this week about, hey, we're not always going to win. And it's Central, they've kind of gotten to the point where it feels like every game's inevitable.
Well, it almost, to some people on Saturday, it felt like the world had stopped because Camp Point Central lost a football game. And I understand that.
Sure.
I grew up in Blue Devil basketball.
Right.
You know?
But you're not always going to win, and it's the way you handle yourself and your kids handle themselves that reflects well. And I thought incredibly classy show on that front from everybody involved, win or lose. So, and again, the job is teaching kids to become better versions of themselves.
Without a doubt. And I think that gets lost sometimes. And I like how when we asked Jeff Gishwinder about the football IQ, and because he does have kids that are getting recruited by the likes of Northwestern.
Yeah.
You know, high academic institutions. Even at the D2 level. They got guys getting recruited by high academic institutions. And it just speaks to the character of kid and what coaches are doing to help these kids foster their future.
Well, and the fun part of that is, if you think about it, that Hannibal has a bunch of kids, but they have a bunch of kids who are all great kids, who are all invaluable, but may not be, like, we don't have an Aeneas Williams this year. We have like 8 or 9 super guys that have gone out and made themselves really good at what they do. And I look at a guy like Aiden Scott, the progress he's made this year. And we saw the picture of him at Truman State.
Yes.
I mean, there's a kid who's turned himself into an outstanding football player. And without him, that defense is not the same. So it's just kind of fun to watch that come. Nicholas Thomas's progress at offensive tackle.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so
He's
much
going
fun.
to EIU.
Yeah. To watch a kid like that, who was overshadowed to some degree by really talented older siblings, find his niche and become a superstar in his own right.
Well, and you mentioned talented older siblings. And looking at the Hornet helmet here on the desk. Trey Fullerton has talented older siblings, but he's made a name for himself this season, not only as a linebacker, but as a blocking back, as a fullback, as a guy that you can hand the ball to get you big yards. But his numbers aren't going to stack up with other people. but damn, he's a good football player.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah.
By the way, you talked about those talented older siblings.
Yes.
I think Tate Fullerton might be the most talented fan outside of maybe Dolly Little in the Brown County,
Dolly Little scored big on Saturday. We got cookies on Saturday.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Yes. So we got the grandma cookies.
Always fun.
Of course, with the green and white M&Ms in them.
Yeah, well, you and I both ate those the first time and didn't think that totally through until we realized that those were Hornet colors on the back end. Yes.
Yes, we did. So, again, Saturday was a lot of fun. You and I both had the opportunity to talk to a ton of people from both sides. And there was such a crowd there from all over the place, both sides of the river even. And again, that's the kind of playoff atmosphere, and that's what I wrote on Saturday for Sunday.
Which was a great call.
It's just, that's what you want. That's what you want November football to be. We ended up with a barn burner of a game, a one-score game, which is what you hope for with all these playoff games, tight all the way to the end, which is what we got. But just the atmosphere, the way everybody handled themselves, it was a November football game to remember, certainly in our area, and I think we're going to have some more here coming up on both sides of the river in that same vein.
Well, you had the most successful high school football coach in tri-state history on the truck bed.
He was sitting there with me.
Jim Unruh was taking it all in,
and he still had the old Carthage Blue Boys coat on with all the numbers of the title teams and stuff on the back. And that coat's got to be 40 years old.
It's got to be pushing 40 years old.
It's really cool to see, and that's what that atmosphere was all about. It was really neat. And part of what made that atmosphere special was the game itself.
Agreed.
And we saw some interesting things happen, including a big adjustment by Brown County to how it attacked offensively, especially in the red zone.
Well, ordinarily, when we are talking about our adjustment of the game, courtesy of our good friend, Dr. Justin Felsman, we're talking about an in-game adjustment. This was an adjustment this particular week relative to week 6. To week 11, which made Brown County better able to attack.
Without doubt.
You and I both agreed that the first time around, one of the biggest problems for Brown County, inside, not even just the red zone, inside the 30s, it bogged down tremendously.
And that credit Camp Point Central for a lot of that.
Right.
And the way they gummed it up on the interior with their defense. Brown County found a way to adjust to that and made a big adjustment and being able to get into the end zone in those situations.
Both in terms of scheme and aggressiveness, which got back to the Brown County offensive linemen. And that's what you're going to see here. You're going to see 2 examples of plays as part of the adjustment of the week that show how much easier the sledding was. And I think one of the things that I think stood out to me, Matt, was the amount of times and the effectiveness. I think it was 3 in the first half that Tom Little called option. With Vince Little running somebody over at the end zone, which might have been the biggest play of the game. That's not something your quarterback generally does.
No, and I was impressed by Vince's physicality in those moments.
If you listen to Vince on the sidelines, you know how tough and into it he is.
Right.
And I think you saw his eyes go like this when he had the chance. So we're going to do our adjustment of the game. Pay careful attention to what the running lanes look like relative to the last time they played. And again, that Vince Little touchdown rumble is there just for your enjoyment's sake as well.
So here's your Justin Chiropractic adjustment of the week.
Tired of that old sports injury taking you out of the game? Give us a call at Justin Chiropractic to see if we can help you get back to living your life and doing the things that you love and enjoy doing. Now back to the guys. Here's the play that adjusted the outcome of the game.
And again, it goes back to preparation. It goes back to looking back at that week 6 film and going, okay, how do we adjust? And that's what Brown County did. And Brown County, the physicality up front, both sides of the ball. And I know we're specifically talking red zone offense here, but you look at the physicality up front defensively during that game, creating turnovers. They forced 3 fumbles. I didn't know if I'd ever see Camp Point Central fumble the ball 3 times in a season. Like, I know they do, but it was just kind of shocking to see it happen in those moments.
It certainly was. And you talk about an adjustment. You know, Brown County got punched in the mouth 4 plays into that game.
Yeah.
You know, Keelan Niekamp had that 71-yard touchdown rumble where we all went, here we go again.
Exactly.
And didn't allow a score the rest of the game, which I think speaks to the quality of Brown County's coaching staff that they adjusted. And to do that against a team the level and caliber of Camp Point Central with their incredible coaching staff says an awful lot. So super impressed with, again, not just what they executed, but the manner in which they executed it.
Right.
And I thought Vince Little made a really interesting point in the story that we brought you on video on Saturday about, hey, maybe we got an artificial sense of ourselves from the early season schedule, and when we got punched in the mouth, we didn't know how to react. We know how to react now after Calhoun, after Central, and I think that is a credit to them down the stretch to what they're going to be able to do here on out.
And one thing we didn't bring up with Jared Hoots when we spoke to him in hour number 1 is his impassioned halftime talk to them. And again, when we say this isn't going in the locker room and yelling till your eyeballs pop out because you're yelling so much. Yes, there's yelling. There's always yelling when it comes to coaching and trying to fire kids up. But it was the way he delivered the message. But again, it comes back to let them hear the message, not how you delivered it. The kids heard the message, you know, and it woke them up. They said it last week at practice. They said it after the game on Saturday. There are moments when you look back throughout a season, you go, that changed the way we were thinking. That changed the way we were playing. That changed how we got to this point. And there were moments. The Week 6 loss to Camp Point Central changed things. The loss to Calhoun changed things. And now it's why Brown County's in the state quarterfinals with a really good shot of getting to the semifinals and maybe beyond.
What precipitates frustration, which is what, you know, Jared Hoots was feeling those 2 halftimes. Because I remember him walking out at halftime at Calhoun going, these guys are driving me crazy right now. and they were, because not because he didn't think they were capable, but completely the opposite, that they were more capable than they were showing.
Yes.
And they weren't sticking to the game plan or being confident in themselves. We saw the difference this week because they stuck to the game plan. They were confident in themselves and struck one of the biggest upsets in the state.
So they're rolling.
They are playing really good football right now.
It's going to be a fun game on Saturday in Mount Sterling with them taking on Carrollton, a team they beat 28-7 in Week 1. Again, I think right now, don't sleep on Brown County. If you're one of the other teams in the bracket or one of the teams from the north, and I know Stockton and Lena Winslow are really, really good.
They are.
And there's a lot of people thinking that's going to be your state champion, whoever gets to that semifinal and wins it. Don't sleep on Brown County.
Well, and from a more selfish standpoint, Matt, you know, Brown County, Monroe City, Hannibal, Knox County, North Shelby, all of those teams, you don't want to leave the pool not because they're eliminated, but because they're so much fun to watch right now at the height of their powers. I mean, I'm just begging for more weeks of football with these teams, and every time you get to go, and you and I kind of get around to different teams, Shane gets around to different teams, it's kind of a treat and a privilege to get to have that ability to travel around and see everybody, because we have 6 or 7 really good football teams in our area right now.
Are you going to go into, like, you know, instead of a food coma on Thanksgiving, a no football coma as soon as the season's over?
I always do.
I know you do.
You wonder why
I
write like Bibles and encyclopedias on the All Do or Die team. It's all withdrawal.
Yeah, and trust me, when it comes to tourisms and having to edit it, he writes and writes and writes and writes and writes and writes and writes.
I get excited.
You do. But it's fun, and that's the reason we do this.
That's right.
So we're going to take a break. When we come back, you want to shuck them up?
Oh, double-barreled shuck them up?
Double-barreled shuck them up this week because we had a viewer submission, and after watching it, I was like, okay. And knowing where we're at in the season and knowing what's coming up this weekend, I thought, we got to throw it in there somewhere.
More of this, please, out there. Yes, if you have great video, please send it our way.
Always. So, again, we're going to do Shuck 'em Up when we come back. So stick around. This is Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
So what separates us most from all the other dealerships It's the Toyota brand itself.
Once they buy a Toyota, they never buy anything else. #1 vehicle on the market, the best sedan on the market, some of the best reliable trucks on the market. And our main goal here is to try and get our customers the best payment possible.
We know the process and we pass that along to you.
We're simply looking to buy vehicles off the street.
And we want all makes and models of vehicles.
And you don't even have to buy anything in return. We'll just simply purchase it from you.
We can purchase a vehicle in 10 or 15 minutes or less.
We believe that accessing care close to home is better for you and better for your family. For 120 years, Hannibal Regional has been committed to providing community-based, contemporary health care. From state-of-the-art surgical care to innovative cancer care, and now life-saving open-heart surgery. We are dedicated to expanding access to exceptional care in each of the communities we serve. Hannibal Regional, why go anywhere else?
Meet us at the Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
The home of Quincy's best cheeseburger is now under new ownership. All our time-tested menu items, along with some great new additions, all cooked on our perfectly seasoned grill, are waiting for you.
New wings and new sauces.
Ice cold buckets at some of the best prices in town.
Or even in a frosted mug.
Corner bar comfort for your favorite game on 7 big screens. Or play your own game and win big.
The Scoreboard, 8th in York and Quincy.
For 135 years, State Street Bank has stood as a pillar of trust and stability in Quincy, Illinois. For generations, families have trusted State Street Bank to be part of their biggest moments. We look forward to the future with gratitude and excitement. Thank you for being part of our journey. State Street Bank, 135 years of banking you can trust.
Since 1929, we've been here to serve our communities with the best products and the best service. You are the reason we go to work every day, and we thank you for that. After all, we live where you do.
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
Chris Stewart. Every week on this show, towards the end of hour number 2, we shuck them up. We're moving it up a little tonight because we got some college basketball stuff to talk about, and we don't have a lot of college basketball highlights yet. We're going to get there. Few teams have played so far. Couple we're going to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk to J.D. Gravino, the WIU women's basketball coach, here in a little bit. But there's a couple of freshmen making some impacts from our area at some of their schools, and we'll get into some of that here in the maybe a little more this hour.
Okay.
But we're moving up, shuck them up to now instead of waiting until the final end so we can get more football talk going. And we had a viewer submission this week from a Carrollton play against Dupo last week.
Really good.
Really good. We also had one of your highlights that really stood out to me.
From a kid who's fast becoming one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah.
And I know he was an all-stater last year, but because Monroe City has so many good guys.
Right.
We kind of take Jaden Holland for granted.
We do. And if you watch the play coming up on Shuck 'em Up, it set the tone. It really did, and he was all over it all night in the 34-8 victory over Palmyra in the district semifinals. But he was really good.
He's also become one of the most improved interviews in our area because he was super fun to talk to. And it's like, I remember when him and Quincy were young and it was like pulling teeth, and now they're like the best interviews around. So it was kind of fun to be a part of that atmosphere too.
Yeah, so we're going to get to Shuck 'em Up, brought to you by Platt Daddy Barbecue, and it's a double barrel Shuck 'em Up.
By the way, I already ordered my turkey for Thanksgiving from Jeremy.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
You don't do your own turkey on Thanksgiving?
I don't. I do all the sides. His turkey is always fantastic, and I don't have to do a thing about it. And I can spend all my time cooking sides. I know you're disappointed.
I am disappointed in you.
I will bring you a piece of Jeremy's turkey.
Oh, I'm sure it is phenomenal.
Yes, it is phenomenal.
You should be ashamed of not doing your own turkey on Thanksgiving.
I do not do my own turkey. I allow that to Jeremy Platt. Boom!
Let's Shuck 'em Up. Shuck 'em Up's always fun. Every week when we do it, we saw one of our Shuck 'em Up winners in the crowd on Saturday.
We did.
Highlands Chris Gauss making the trip
there.
across the river.
Was that week 1 that Chris Gauss?
Yes. So pretty impressive. But again, when we go back to, and we didn't talk much about this game early on in the show because we had guests from other games.
Right.
But the Monroe City Palmyra game, we had David Kirby on the show last week. We did Shuck on a Truck with the Palmyra players last week. So we gave that game plenty of hype, plenty of build-up. And Monroe City really dominated that game, start to finish. And a lot of it had to do with their defense. Their defense took Palmyra out of the game. Jaden Holland with huge plays like the one we just saw.
And again, I think there was a tone and an anger to that Monroe City team that if they can replicate for the next couple of weeks, I know everybody thinks Blair Oaks is the impossible monster out there, and they may well be. You know, I've heard a lot of talk that
I'm never going to sell David Kirby and his crew short.
No, I'm not either. But they've given up 6 points all season long,
right?
And you know that's pretty impressive. And again, who knows? You got to get there first. But I think if Monroe City maintains this mindset and this kind of physicality throughout the rest of the playoffs, it's going to be really hard for anybody to take them down or take them out. I will also say how much I am enjoying some of the crossover love that we are starting to get with our friends in Carrollton, with our friends in Calhoun, who have come and offered us video, and who are, you know, when we go to those games, they're engaged and they want to talk.
I'll be honest, I'm hoping for a Brown County Calhoun state semifinal matchup, and I'm hoping the good people in Calhoun will let me bring the truck and park it somewhere where I can have a view of the game sitting on the tailgate.
I just want you on the side of the hill because I'm so jealous of those people who stake out that hillside spot because I think that's a great place to watch football.
We'll see. We'll see what happens this week. But that's what I'm hoping for. So Calhoun, I want to come. I want to come to Hardin. I want to sit on the tailgate of the pickup watching a game. And any of you can come join me. I'm happy. Anybody can.
Yeah, on the back of the tailgate?
You know, it was a place to sit on Saturday.
You know, you had more people shuffled through there. We should have had a turnstile on the back of that thing to count them.
I absolutely love it.
But yes, I mean, again, we certainly appreciate that. And again, all we're trying to do here is connect the community of Tri-State football. And for the people in the WIV South who have shown so much love, we are greatly appreciative.
Without a doubt. Yes. And if we do end up getting Brown County Calhoun in a state semifinal, the entire WIVC will be there.
They will. I tell you what, tall order though getting past Carrollton because that's not going to be easy at all.
And it's not going to be easy for Calhoun to get past Casey Westfield.
No, and I think that's the one thing that's kind of gotten glossed over. Casey Westfield's still very, very talented.
I saw them last year against Brown County, and they were very good.
So there is a lot of business to be sorted out.
Yeah, but if we do get that game, man, that's going to be a fun Saturday.
It should be a fun Saturday.
So, and we'll also have Missouri quarterfinals on that Saturday with, if everything holds, Monroe City and Hannibal will both be at home.
Yes, they will. And I think there's a pretty good shot that Monroe City would have Mid-Buchanan, which has turned into a nifty little rivalry over the last decade as well.
And we were just looking earlier on who, and my mouse won't help me here, on who Hannibal would get. And
I looked at this, but it seems like forever.
Carl Junction or West Plains?
Well, there's an existing rivalry for Hannibal with the Scissors, as we well know.
So, and then on the opposite side of that bracket, if you look ahead, don't want to look too far ahead, but then you've got Lutheran North, St. Mary's, Parkway North, and Orchard Farm are the 4 teams left on the top side of that bracket.
So what most people will tell you is that Hannibal has been fortunate to this point to avoid the other Hannibal-like powerhouse in the bracket, which is Kearney on the other side, which is the team I think most people have predicted is
if we get a Hannibal-Kearney state title game.
Out of my mind excited for that. You know, the week after Thanksgiving.
You are just, I can only imagine what you're going to be like that week if that's the title game we get.
You'll have me at home because you don't want me around here, you know. Clearly, yes. Sequester me to the house that week, so I'll be out of my mind.
Thank you to Jeremy Platt and Platt Daddy Barbecue for always sponsoring Shuck 'em Up. That's been so much fun.
Well, and also I will tell you, he was serving and slinging food at Chris Kindle this weekend, and I had a very, very tasty, smoked chicken salad sandwich.
Oh, okay.
And he also had the the mac and cheese with the pulled pork. Oh,
yeah,
man can sling some barbecue.
So we got to talk to him again about getting us a shuck 'em up sandwich.
I have suggested that, but I think the man who bears the name needs to give some ingredient items.
We will.
Yes.
We will. So I'd love to see that on the menu over there.
Yeah.
The shuck 'em up sandwich.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, we got to take a break because we got another coach waiting to talk to us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline, and we are going to shift gears and talk some college basketball when we come back.
I got to put the earphones in, don't I?
You do. I hope they stay.
No.
We'll be right back. This is Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
Does the thought of retirement overwhelm you? You are not alone. For over 25 years, Benson Financial Group has helped people just like you craft a plan to retire with purpose. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
Top 5 reasons you should choose
Blessing Raymond College.
Small classes, peer tutoring, and lots of personal attention.
Financial aid opportunities, including grants, scholarship, and loan forgiveness.
Successful outcomes, from pass rates to job placement.
Hands-on learning, clinical experience at multiple sites, and no wait list.
The Simulation Center.
Master clinical skills in this state-of-the-art facility.
Be ready for anything.
What are you waiting for?
Enroll with Blessing Raymond College today.
Neiman's, your neighborhood market.
Ready to retire on your terms? At Benson Financial Group, it's about more than money. It's about purpose. With over 25 years of experience, our team works together to craft a plan that fits your goals and values in Quincy and Hannibal.
Are you as excited as we are that football season is back? Then you need to make Jersey's your one-stop destination for mouth-watering burgers, ice-cold beer, and all your local sporting events. So gather your crew and speed over to one of Jersey's 2 locations, 109 East Jefferson and Camp Point, or 115 East Main Street, Mount Sterling. Jersey's Bar and Grill, your hometown sports bar.
We love beer!
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply, coming to you from downtown Quincy in the CDS Office Technology Studio. And like a smooth driver going into turn 4, we're shifting gears, Chris Dewar.
We are.
As we head into our 4th half hour of the show.
We are. An exciting way to start this last half hour off because we've got the only Division I women's basketball coach in our area on the line.
We do, and he's on the road tonight because he's got a game tomorrow night. JD Gravina, WIU women's basketball coach, talking to us from the road. Thanks for doing this, Coach.
Gentlemen, I'm glad to be talking with 2 men of your stature. And I mean that physically than anything else.
I'm sure you do, yes.
Now, wait a minute. We're getting this started off. It's almost like we're talking to Coach Boudreau with some of the zingers being thrown our way.
He's been teaching me a few one-liners. Been working on it.
Oh, you needed no help, good sir.
You're headed up to DeKalb to take on NIU tomorrow night, correct?
That's big game, first road test of the year, so pretty excited to get it going.
JD, what do you like about your crew so far?
Oh man, the whole half hour here with you guys.
Sure.
Always tease me and McComb. Sometimes they call me Holtz. As coaches, we always kind of downplay our teams, right? Or at least like the smart ones do. So here it's a little harder to do. I mean, the main things I like, we have 2 just absolute stars. When I say stars, I mean players that have a chance to play in the WNBA or have really good professional careers. I think 2 kids that are probably about 25 or 30 mid-majors in the whole country. And me and Nicastro, Reagan, McCowan. So, when you have that star power, that's hard to get at this level. You got to really get 1 kid like that. And to have 2 the same team is unbelievable. But I think what people kind of forget is the rest of our supporting cast is, it's just Allie Meadows and Addie Bradfield are both 3-year starters. Addie will score 1,000 points in her career. Allie led the league as the turnover ratio, and they're forgotten souls. And then you have Lynn Reed, who honestly, I don't know the guard in the league I would trade her for, back from injury from last year. And then we have a really good up-and-coming group of sophomores, and even a freshman and a transfer in Mallory Shetley that can step in and help us. So you have that star power, but you also have the help to have all the stars you want. But if you don't have a complete team, you're not going to be able to get where you want to be. So that's what excites me.
What I like about you, JD, and your team this year is that, yes, you've got these talented players, but I think when you brought in Mia with her size and her unique ability to shoot the ball at that size, it changed the calculus of everything you could build around. Is she really kind of the spine that kind of set you up to make everybody else better?
Yes, you're 100% on that. And we've talked about that as staff. I mean, again, you've got Reagan as a freak of nature scorer. Boy, she could get a lot of attention if we have Mia. And Mia is, like you said, can really space the floor shooting. Is probably the best, or one of the best three-point shooters, maybe throughout Allie and Shelby Bowman on our team. Great mid-range shooter, and so that just really spaces the floor. She's a really good passer. Oh, and not to mention a really good screener. So when you say making everyone better, you are spot on. I definitely think she's kind of that catalyst. We're looking. I remember a few weeks where Reagan was in the portal after a year, and we hadn't gotten Mia yet. And then within a week, Reagan decided to come back and decided to commit. And I think those two were, they both knew they needed each other. And I really do think it kind of brought that team together. Honestly, she's gotten so much better. I mean, she really got sparked with her last year, especially her ending to her year. She worked her butt off this summer, and she is just playing confidently and just absolutely really unstoppable at her position.
JD, when you have players of that caliber, the way you do it with Reagan and Mia, how does that impact recruiting, knowing that the girls have a chance to come in and play with high-level players?
Yeah, I think at first, especially when it was young, it can make it a little tough because everyone asked the number one question, which is, are they going to get to play? And so when you're looking at maybe a freshman in your position who's putting the numbers Reagan's putting up, that can sometimes make you a little scared. Although we play so positionless, I think that really helps. But you're right. I think that anything just success. I mean, kids want to come have a chance to be successful. And when you have, again, a year we had last year and pretty much return everyone other than Mallory McDermott, Kenny Flanagan, Jasmine Nichols, but, really the core of our team, I think kids are excited to come join. I do think that helps recruiting.
You've had a great bit of success recruiting those heart of Missouri type kids from that neck of the woods. Is there just something about that natural toughness in those girls from Lebanon to Boonville and, all points in between that you just really like when you're looking at player profiles?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, it's like I used to get that reputation when we had a bunch of Wisconsin Lakers on our team, right?
Yeah.
We'd have 3 come in every year, and I think it's just contagious. And, those players, especially, they all know each other. Almost really all those kids played for the Missouri Phenom. Reagan, Mia, and Addie Brownfield all played for Missouri Phenom. And so, when you start to kind of get a reputation with the program, all their parents know each other. I mean, I still say Addie Brownfield's dad and parents were probably the key recruiters in Gideon because the experience Mia had at SLU, she was looking for just somewhere she could try. She was going to be treated in a certain way, and she was going to be able to play a certain way, and was going to be able to build some confidence. And having an insider like Addie's dad, who she already trusted, was just absolutely huge for us. So we also have a great relationship. I'm sure you know the great Greg Logston, who's in about Hall of Fames and just wrote a book, I think. So he's a big help. And so, yeah, it just kind of when it pours with those kids, and we've continued to try to recruit through.
JD, as you get into your season, you're busy, whether it's recruiting, whether it's coaching, whether it's on the road and all that stuff. Do you take time to see what else is going on? And what I mean by that is one of your former players is about ready to launch her first season at a job you used to have, and that's Allie Schweigmeyer-Belger taking over at Quincy University. How closely are you going to monitor how she does?
I'm going to monitor really closely. That'll probably be the second score I look up after a game. You know, I'll look at our conference. I'll go right to QU, and I have got to more quality time with Allie in the last 2 months, whether it's on the phone or in person, than I probably had the last 4 years. I mean, we've always had a good relationship, but really when she got to John Wood, and then I do for sure. Now we have so much to talk about, and I'm so excited for her. She's just going to be a phenomenal coach. It was so neat to have her for an exhibition game. I thought her team played exactly like the Schweigmeyer team would play. They were probably more physical than us, hard and competed. And I'm really excited for her and Courtney and QU. I mean, to have someone bring in some of the best local players. What I don't like about Allie is she's going to steal some of those players from me. And we recruit, I think, that kind of top-tier D2 kid, an local kid that maybe we would be able to sneak out before. I will be able to sneak out now that Allie will be recruiting them hard. That's kind of the negative with her.
I know you can't talk about recruiting specifics, JD, but you're about to have some success, it feels like right now, and your backyard is probably as good as it's been in a while with players coming and right here. Is there just a palpable sense of excitement about what's happening around you as well as within your program? Because there is, it would be fun to go shopping for talent without having to talk about specifics right now in your own backyard. That's a rare find.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and of course, recruit local. And I think we've done a good job. And we talk about that sophomore group. I mean, I think Kobe Bowman has a chance to come in and really play some key roles for us. And so, we've got a really good group, especially of 2027s, all around within about an hour radius of Macomb. And I think, again, a lot of those players have seen games. Western Hall, when you're winning a home game in the WNIT, in front of a pretty big crowd, and they're there watching that. I mean, I think, we're getting back to that point where I don't know that maybe a local kid grows up dreaming coming to WIU, right? You're still going to have that Illinois, Mizzou dream. But I think we're at that next level now where a kid grows up and they think like, man, I'd love to go play for that program. And then just having the longevity of a coaching staff. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but, to be 15, 16 years at a Division I program is almost unheard of these days, because you either do really well and you move on to the next job, or you don't do well and you get fired. And so I really feel like I've been at that Goldilocks place with my family. Macomb's such a good place for family that we're able to recruit those local kids because they know how to hang around.
Well, speaking of hanging around, Coach Boudreau has said he wants to come one of these Monday nights and sit here in the studio with us. Are you willing to tag along and make it a purple night here in the downtown Quincy studio?
Absolutely. That sounds like us. I'm guessing Chad and I have a pretty good time on the way to and from studio, and I'm sure we'll get some good Quincy eats too with Chad. So I would love to do that. That'd be a blast. Now I will tell you, I don't know if I'll get a word in. That's there. So I don't know if you guys will get a word in either, to be honest with you. But we could go and just be a fly on the wall for the Chad, the mind of Chad, as we like to call it.
That's great stuff.
That's phenomenal. Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night against NIU. We really appreciate you taking time to join us while you're on the road, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. You took helped make this drive a little bit easier. I got Marin, my co-pilot, here in the passenger seat with me, so we're going to head up there, but you helped kill a few minutes, so I appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, be safe on the road.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
That was WIU women's basketball coach J.D. Gravina joining us on the Hess Auto Agency hotline. Again, the Leathernecks are heading up to DeKalb to take on NIU tomorrow night. And again, he's right. He's got some high-level players in Reagan McCowan and Mia McCastro. and he's got a really good team, just in general.
So I got to go up there for the exhibition against Quincy University.
Yep.
By the way, always very cool, whether it was Ali Schwagmeyer or Jeanette Bergen, somebody that JD has a relationship with coaching against him. He always kind of tries to nurture and cultivate that, which I think is really cool.
I do too.
But there was a crowd there for that opening game, which exhibition games in Macomb on a busy night, you don't know, but that's indicative of how good they're going to be. JD is not selling you a bill of goods. This is a legitimately talented basketball team that has a chance to win this league.
Without doubt.
And has a chance to make a postseason run. So if you get a chance to go up there, Regan McCowan alone is worth the price of admission. And her size, her ability to get into the post and attack people, I don't know what the best parallel is, but there is something Charles Barkley-esque in her, beating down taller players with her shot, with her toughness, and with her base. She plays with such a great base.
I would agree.
So it's worth the price of admission to make a Macomb trip.
Well, we're both going to get up there at different points in the season.
Indeed.
But it's very much worth it. I want to see the men, too.
Oh, the men are going to be fun, I think.
I think so, too.
I think this is a whole reset, and there's a lot of fun guys involved in that, as you well know.
Yes. So we're going to talk more about that as we get going. We really appreciate JD giving us a few minutes tonight. Always been fun chatting with him, all the way back to his QU days, and just a great dude.
What a phenomenal job he has done.
Yeah.
And I think...
And he's right. The fact that he's a D1 coach who has stuck where he's at for as long as he has, and it is a true testament to what he's been able to do.
Great support system.
Yep.
Wonderful wife, great children.
Yep.
Phenomenal mother-in-law. So, all of these things need to be said that also help that a ton. So
way to work that in.
Yes, I'm trying here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get him points and me points as well. So
very nice. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more basketball and then wrap things up right here on Monday Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.
When you trust your healthcare needs to MDH, you'll receive the highest quality, compassionate care from our nationally accredited medical departments and award-winning staff. We are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing exceptional care right here in Macomb. We also accept Aetna, HealthLink, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and most other insurance plans for your convenience. McDonough District Hospital, your regional healthcare partner, growing our legacy one patient at a time.
Does the thought of retirement overwhelm you? You are not alone. For over 25 years, Benson Financial Group has helped people just like you craft a plan to retire with purpose. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
For 135 years, State Street Bank has stood as a pillar of trust and stability in Quincy, Illinois. For generations, families have trusted State Street Bank to be part of their biggest moments. We look forward to the future with gratitude and excitement. Thank you for being part of our journey. State Street Bank, 135 years of banking you can trust.
Neiman's, your neighborhood market.
Kitchen and Bath Gallery of Quincy. Trained craftsmen and expert contractors with friendly professional service. Our design team helps with every step of the process, guiding you from a vision to reality with uncompromised service. Trust your home to the local experts. Get a free quote today. From concept to creation, Kitchen and Bath create remarkable spaces and innovative builds. Kitchen and Bath Gallery, your home reimagined.
Not sure you're ready for retirement? With over 25 years of experience, the team at Benson Financial Group will meet you right where you are and craft a plan that's right for you. Call us today in Quincy and Hannibal.
Welcome back to Monday Night Lights, live from the CDS Office Technology Studios in downtown Quincy.
Chris Dewar, basketball season is upon us. High school teams on both sides of the river are beginning practicing.
They are.
We'll have first high school games, I believe, next week.
Yeah.
On the Illinois girls, will be the first to tip off this year.
Always fun to get over to Mount Sterling and get
Yep.
in for that tournament, which traditionally has been my start for highlights anyway.
Right. So we've got that coming up. We've got basketball right here in town this weekend.
We do.
We have the Midwest region crossover games that QU traditionally plays in, usually against some of the GMAC teams. So you've got Cedarville and Findlay coming to Quincy University's Pepsi Arena to take on the men. QU women head over to Truman State. They'll be taking on Cedarville and Ursuline College. So some really good games, especially for the QU men out of the gate. Findlay and Cedarville return a lot of talent. I think Findlay's number 23 in the nation in the preseason poll. I mean, you're going to see some really good basketball at Pepsi Arena if you go out there this weekend.
Well, and as you heard Brad Hoyt say, he wants to find out where he's at.
Yeah.
This is going to do it.
You know, and it was funny. I went to QU men's basketball practice on Sunday. So I'm hanging out at Pepsi Arena. I'm watching the guys go up and down. And this is, I think Friday was their first practice where they had everyone healthy. Like, you know, they've had some preseason injuries. Max Boer was battling a thumb injury. Owen Duff had something with his foot and ankle. You know, so you've had guys banged up. Typical. It happens. This weekend was the first time they had everybody on the floor together. And I looked around, and there is not a single player on the roster who has been here more than a year.
The sign of the times, right?
Yeah, and it fits Brad Hoyt.
Yeah.
That's what he did at John Wood. Constant turnover. That's what you do as a JUCO coach. So him adapting to this group with so many new faces, not an issue in the sense of how he coaches. Now, to win consistently in the GLVC year in and year out, you got to have some experience. They have some solid senior leadership in Ethan Brown and Cameron Kincaid. You've got some talent returning in Tiernan Steins and Max Boer. And now you've got to find what other pieces are going to fit in, whether it's your transfers, whether it's your incoming freshmen, how long is it going to take some of those to get up to speed. It's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how this team develops, but I like what I see.
Okay, so to extrapolate from that, when does this team kind of find itself? Does Brad
January?
Okay, so you're thinking January is the optimal window.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not unlike what he did at John Wood.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Other than, like, he would schedule teams when he was at John Wood in that first semester. They had no business playing at times.
Right.
And go get their brains bashed in to get better.
Okay.
It's not the same kind of schedule here, but I think it's the same kind of trajectory. We're gonna play some really good teams in that first half of the year. We're gonna have a couple games there where we know we're gonna win and should win, and as long as we play well. And then by January, we're gonna have our legs under us. Some of these young kids are gonna have figured out this is how they need to play. Some of these older guys, their influence will really show, and then you run.
So what is going to be, if Quincy University men's basketball finds its way to Max Q, what is going to be the defining characteristic that you think, Matt, is going to make them better this year than last year in terms of, is it physicality, is it shooting, is it floor knowledge? What is it that's the outlier for this group?
Two things.
Okay.
Physicality. Okay. I think they're going to be physically tough.
Okay.
I think they're going to be able to withstand some of that. Now, when you look at it, especially up front, they're not huge in terms of, you don't have a guy in there who's 6'9", 280, and, you know,
right,
is a rock that you're not going to move. But a Jake Wallingford is physically tough. You know, I think a Jake Collicott, a guy who has transferred in.
Who you've talked a lot about.
And I'm real excited to see what he can do and where he fits into this team. Because, again, physically tough, smart.
That's something they were not last year.
Exactly, and I think that's going to be the case. And then the other thing is, the team chemistry is good.
Okay.
You know, think about it. You only have 4 returnees. Why are there only 4 returnees? Because a lot of those guys didn't fit here. And there was a reason why they left or were asked to leave, because they didn't fit. You have to find the right fit with your guys. This team seems to have the right fit. Now, there are going to be growing pains. There is no doubt about it. And there's going to be some guys that aren't going to be on top of it yet. So we've got to, you know, you got to get to that. So, but I really I'm excited about it. We'll also be debuting our new segment coming this weekend, the QU Round Ball Review, after every game, brought to you by Alpha Accessories. I'm looking forward to doing that. So after every QU home game, I'm going to be doing a video interview, whether it's with Coach Hoyt, whether it's Coach Hoyt and a player. We're going to feel this out and see how it goes. But we're going to have video interviews after every home game brought to you by Alpha Accessories.
Awesome. That should be great.
Now, we do have a little bit of housekeeping stuff to do because apparently when we ran Shuck 'em Up earlier, we ran the wrong one. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, apparently we had a miscue on the production side, hit the wrong button,
That happens.
And we've all done it.
Yes.
So the guy pushing the buttons and pulling the knobs over there has to hit the right button this time because we do want to show you the correct version of Shuck 'em Up, which we didn't get to earlier. So here we go, the correct version of tonight's Shuck 'em Up, brought to you by Platt Daddy Barbecue.
Shuck 'em Up!
So if anybody doesn't know the behind-the-scenes working of these shows, we don't see what's on the screen as we're sitting here. So we don't know what's being played, what graphics are being thrown up there. We're winging it, basically.
I'm trying not to flash back to my television days where I used to have to resist the urge to go, wrong video, change the video, because I don't have a monitor in front of me. So I've become kindler and gentler in my old age.
You have. You did. There was no red showing on the top of the head.
Yes, that used to be a thing.
But again, we wanted to make sure we talked so much about Jaden Holland and his performance last week against Palmyra, and then Carson Flowers with the big hit for Carrollton, and then we didn't have the right video up. So we wanted to make sure we showed you the right video for this week's Shuck 'em Up. And again, we got to hear Jeremy Platt and do the pixie dust, the oink dust.
Can't get enough of that.
So again. Been a fun Monday night.
It has been.
So we want to make sure we thank our guests. We had 3 guests join us in the first hour in the Hess Auto Agency hotline. We had Brown County Defensive Coordinator Jared Hoots talking about the big victory over Camp Point Central and looking ahead to this week's game over Carrollton. Talked to Cody Spiegel, Bowling Green head coach, talking about the victory over Priory and this week's matchup with Montgomery County. And then we had Hannibal coach Jeff Gishwinder join us, talk about the victory last week over Mexico and a big one coming up in America's hometown against Odessa on Friday night.
Correct.
And then in hour number 2, J.D. Gravina, the WIU women's basketball coach, joined us on the hotline. We thank all our guests always for joining us and for Hess Auto Agency for helping us hook them up on the phone line each and every week. And we already got a guest lined up to join us in studio next week.
I heard, and I'm very excited about this because I think next week we'll know a little bit more about her basketball team at that point.
We will, and that will be Allie Schwagmeyer-Belger has already agreed after their road trip this weekend to come in and join us and hang out and talk about the Hawks and how they did in the Midwest region crossover, which is taking place in Kirksville this weekend. Again, they're playing Cedarville and Ursuline, and then the following weekend they're at home. Yeah. So you're going to have a chance to see a lot of local talent on this year's team too.
We're going to ramp up into actual attendable, watchable basketball very quickly around here.
Very quickly. And the Hanson Spear Classic, which happens every year right before Thanksgiving at QU, Missouri Southern and Purdue Northwest coming in to take on the Hawks.
Should be fun.
That weekend, So, it should be a great time. The men will go on the road then the following weekend. And then we'll be into December, and we'll have GLVC games out of the gate. December 1st is the first GLVC game of the year.
Hard to believe we're already almost to December.
It's crazy that it as fast as it's moving. But we still have a lot of football to get to.
We do, and we're looking forward to a monster weekend of football one more time.
Yeah, so 4 district championship games involving teams from our area on Friday night. We have 1 Illinois playoff game involving a team from our area, Brown County at home on Saturday against Carrollton. But then we'll also be monitoring some of those other games. We'll obviously be paying attention to what Calhoun does.
Right.
There's a big game over in the Springfield area that I think people are going to be interested to see how that plays out.
Do they know each other at all?
They might have played each other a time or two. They might have had father-sons coaching them at times over the years. Rochester, Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin.
Can't get much better than that. Hey, the good news for us, though, we are guaranteed at least one team into next week because we have 2 8-man teams playing each other, North Jumping and Knox.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed.
I
that
said
we get
4
more
district.
than that. Yes.
I always get stuck, and you know this.
It's new to you.
Yeah, I'm just not used to thinking 8-man as well.
But
so,
we will have one team.
All apologies to Knox and North.
Yeah, should be a good game there as well.
He'll be there Friday night, so we're not forgetting about you.
No, I'll be there for the rematch. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the fact that, again, as we touched on, the longer football lasts, the happier we are.
Especially you.
Especially me.
Yeah, so good stuff. Thanks for being here this week. I know you were on the road last week for work purposes.
Thanks for bringing me back out of exile. I appreciate it.
You're always welcome.
Oh, bless you.
For Chris Stewart, I'm Matt Shuckman. You guys have a great week. Look forward to all the Muddy River Blitz coverage coming up on the football scene this weekend. And got college basketball. I'll be out at Pepsi Arena. Have a great week. This has been Muddy Night Lights, powered by Farm and Home Supply.